3 years ago, I decided to acquire some insights because I asked myself, isn't there another way around it? Isn't there an alternative of raising my children like I'm doing right now? At that moment, it was more like reinventing the wheel over and over again and do as the Romans do. And I mean with the Romans, my peer friends, and just continue how I was raised myself. I had this gut feeling that there was a different angle, that in spite I was an awesome dad and totally convinced of my approach, I still thought, isn't there another approach? Isn't there an alternative? And that's when I got a tip about how to talk so kids will listen and how to listen so kids will talk. So I did that course, and it was a workshop, a 2-day workshop in Holland, just before we left from Amsterdam to Switzerland, where I was to become a stay-at-home dad. And it opened my eyes. I loved it from the very first second to the final second of that course, because it gave me so much ideas and insights of how you can communicate and how you can get your kids in a position where they cooperate. And although it was challenging to implement those ideas and tips and directions that the course gave me, I pursued, and I do it. It's like part of my language now. I speak how to talk to kids. I really do. And it brought me so much more confidence and belief that we're on the right track and that my kids develop beautifully and we develop a nice and long-lasting, deep relationship. So that how to talk to kids opened my eyes, and I decided to continue acquiring more insights because I wanted to know the deeper reasons of those ideas that are presented in how to talk to kids, which is a very practical guideline, a very hands-on, easy to digest and implement approach. So that's when I decided to do the courses of Gordon Neufeld. And I did the first course, which is Making Sense of Kids, an intensive online education. And that I learned that attachment, so it's based on attachment theory, and attachment is the holy grail of development for your kids. And he took me along the various stages and phases of attachment. And it gave me much more insight, in-depth insight from the inside out. I decided to do the second course of Gordon Neufeld, which is about the separation complex. So because once you decide that attachment is the holy grail of development for your kids, then the challenge to overcome as a parent is separation. And we're dealing with separation every day, day in, day out. So that second online intensive education course of Gordon Neufeld was about the separation complex. So I became an attachment theory believer. And I started to read books and do more courses and about this topic of raising our kids and upbringing of our kids. And I came across a book that's called The Whole Brain Child, and it's a book by Tina Payne and Mr. Siegel. And I loved it as well because it is based on brain research, on neuroscientific research. For me, a father, a man, a dad, that was very nice in a way, that it was scientifically proven. I love that idea. And so they talk about development of kids from a brain perspective, based on research and scientifically proven. So that was called The Whole Brain Child. I did a course, an online course, and I read the book over and over again. And I love that concept. And that's why I'm extremely excited right now, because Tina Brain and Danielle Siegel just published their book, which they combine the whole brain child with attachment theory. And they reason attachment theory from brain research and neuroscientifically proven research. I just bought the book yesterday evening on my tablet, and I'm extremely excited to read this and to further understand the foundations and the importance of attachment. The book is called The Power of Showing Up. The book is called The Power of Showing Up. And it's gonna be fully embedded in scientific research, neuroscientific research. I think this justifies very much the choices I made in the direction of the upbringing of my children. So this is book, I consider it as the icing on the cake for my choices so far.